to do. Okay, so the Giants were 6-point underdogs at home to a Green Bay coming off a momentum-launching win over Kansas City. And just when it looked like Jordan Love had pulled it out with a big fourth quarter, that's what Jordan does, Tommy DeVito, of all people, led the Giants 57 yards in 8 plays to set up the walk-off field goal, and it was Giants 24-22. Richard, it's your turn. Your opinion on this outcome, please.
Skip, I was surprised, really surprised. It's just the inconsistency of the National Football League right now. You really can't predict really anything. But last week after the win, because in the offseason I had said after they got rid of Aaron Rodgers and they said Jordan Love was the guy, I said to the Green Bay Packers fans, hey, nobody's going to fear you anymore. Nobody's going to sit there and be like, hey, they're going to say the big bad witch of the West is gone. Aaron Rodgers is gone. We got a chance in this division now. And then last week after they beat the Kansas City Chiefs, I had those fans coming at me with the replaying the clip like, hey, we've arrived, Jordan. Now what you got to say about us? I was like, you guys are a 500 ball club. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The kid's still developing. He's still got a lot of room to grow. And this game showed that.
Yeah.
You're going against Wink. Wink Martindale is one of those coordinators. If you haven't dealt with him a lot, he runs a very complex scheme. And the first time you see it, you're going to be shell-shocked. And a lot of teams and a lot of guys are, especially a young quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be better the next time he faces it. But the first time you face it, you're going to have some mistakes. You're going to struggle. You're going to see ghosts and things like that. And that's what happened. But it was up to that defense because Jordan Love did drive him down the field in the fourth quarter when they had to have it.
He did.
But so did Tommy DeVito,
Yes,
which is a really cool story.
It's an amazing story.
And I think they're impressed with what he's doing. I mean, Giants fans, I feel terrible for you because you got to go back to Daniel Jones when you've watched multiple quarterbacks play better than he was playing, even when he was healthy with the same weapons, with everybody. You watch how he played against your Dallas Cowboys multiple times. It's just a bad situation, but it's a cool story. Tommy DeVito, his family, he's from Jersey. They're at every game. He's got 9 touchdowns on the season. He drove them down the field when he needs to have it at home in New York. I love to see it, Skip. I love to see those things.
Maybe the Giants found their quarterback of the future and just don't know it.
Unfortunately, they just paid the other one.
Yeah, it's a short-term deal, though, so they could probably get from out underneath it at some point.
They're just going to eat the 40?
Yeah, but you can't win any football game with 3 turnovers. You just can't, Skip, right? I mean, you think about the 3 turnovers, 1 interception, 2 fumbles, 2 turnovers by Jordan Love and himself. Now, look, he was missing some players on the offensive side of the ball. Okay, some of his weapons were not there for him. So I give him a little bit of that as an excuse. But he's been a consistent enough quarterback to hold this down to get another look-see as a starting quarterback. You can't judge him based on last night or based on his first 3 years in the league. Because this is really, truly his rookie season, believe it or not, even though he's set behind Aaron Rodgers. This is the first time he's seen extensive action in the National Football League.
Right.
So he's going to have some growing pains, and he's going to do some things that's going to make you scratch your head at the same time. He's got to get an opportunity, a chance to finish the deal. Now, we'll see what he is the rest of the year, and then hopefully they don't have one of those quick triggers and say we need to go get a quarterback. That would be a mistake on the Green Bay Packers' fault because I think that they found a guy that they can build on for the future. When you're without Watson, you're without, what's the running back that not Dylan played? Jones. When you're without Aaron Jones, you're without some weapons.
You are.
And so now you got Little Reed. He put it on the ground a couple times last night and did some amazing stuff. But then you got Dobbs, who's learning how to play with you. So if he had everything together, I think you would have saw a different game. Now, in terms of Tommy DeVito, what you going to do? I mean, look at it. He ran the ball,
you're not gonna do
he
what
threw
you
the
said
ball,
they're gonna do.
and they found Keyshawn Nixon at the right time. He didn't have a great game. He fumbled, costly fumble. He gave up the goods on the 3rd and 1. Big time play to put him in a field goal situation. I don't know how you let him run a deep crosser on you and separate to the point where all of a sudden he finds him. Now you in a chase technique looking at the tail lights. That's a problem. They found what they did is they found the weakest link in the secondary. And they said to themselves, in that situation, he was smart enough to go, okay, I see Nixon. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go attack that so I can put my team in a great scoring position. And they held on to it. So now the Packers are sitting at the 7th spot. You got the Giants, even though it may not happen, they're in a wild card situation on the back end. And if they keep winning out, they might wind up in the damn playoffs.
If they wind up in the playoffs, Dayball might
it.
get Coach of the Year again.
Think about it, though. But they're right now mathematically still in it.
Right.
And this kid is 3-1 as a starter with three in a row. He's building confidence.
He is. I can't help myself. I got to do it again. I got to tell you, I came away from that game thinking, go Cowboys, go. Because the Eagles still have to play Tommy DeVito twice. Yeah. Twice. I got 2 shots at them losing games, not to mention they still have to go a week from last night. They have to go to where you live, to Seattle.
It's going to be a dogfight.
I don't know if Gino is going to be able to go or not. He's got a groin. But if Gino can go, that'll be a dogfight. I'm not sure about Drew Lock. But if Gino, it'll be a fight. So I got now 3 chances. And then I think the other one's Kyler. I think Kyler plays there at Philly. But those are my chances. I need Philly to lose a game or 2 more, obviously.
Right.
Okay.
One game ain't gonna help you. 2 gonna help.
Okay. 2 would, but again, I got Tommy DeVito on my side now because we already beat him.
Right.
And we did. Keyshawn, you got to give it up to the opening night. I still say,
so good.
When I go back to opening night, we went up there and beat them 40-0. I know it was Danny Dimes, but they were full strength, full.
Yeah.
You do so good, then you go off the rails.
Come on, we won 40-0 at Giants. They're a division rival. And then we beat Tommy DeVito when nobody even knew who he was. Everybody would call him Danny DeVito, including me. And now nobody calls him Danny because he is Tommy Cutlet, because his mom fixes him chicken cutlets.
He did a good job last night.
Not the chicken
He did a good job last night against a subpar defense in Green Bay, okay?
Yeah.
Look,
he was 17-21 for $158.
His QBR was high because he was efficient.
Right.
And
he was efficient.
QBR counts.
And he had a nice run,
Can we show are we showing the 26-yard run? The kid can move a little bit. I'm not saying he's Lamar, but he did a good job.
You got to give credit to Brian Daboll for calling these plays and putting him in a position, not stressing him, not stretching him.
Yeah.
He did a good job.
Okay, he's about 6'2", 210 or 215 or so. He can move around a little bit. He's got an okay arm. Are we showing the big throw on the final drive? I think it was.
But I can guarantee you he's not beating the Philadelphia Eagles.
The 32-yarder to Robinson. It's a pretty good throw. I'm not saying he's got any cannon, but
that was a dime. That was a dime. But back to Jordan Love. Yeah. The hardest thing to do, Skip, in any sport, at any position, is to follow a Hall of Famer. Is to follow, especially at the quarterback position. To follow a Hall of Famer, you want to go second. I want to go second.
I agree.
You don't want to follow a Hall of Famer. I want to be the next guy.
Yep.
I want to be the next guy after the guy follows him, and then I can show you, hey, I'm better than that guy because I just got to be better than him. Okay. But the expectations, even from Green Bay fans, are, hey, he's going to beat Aaron. So you hear the comparisons when he has the stats that are comparable over, I think, 12 games. They had really comparable stats over the first 12. They're like, he's the next Aaron because Aaron followed Brett, and Brett was a Hall of Famer.
Aaron's first year wasn't great.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. They compared it to Jordan Love.
They showed the stats last night. It was almost they were identical.
It's almost identical.
Okay.
And so it's unrealistic expectations. Because you're comparing him to a Hall of Famer. That was probably Aaron's worst year as a pro. But you're sitting here like, hey, this guy is the next coming. So no matter what he does.
He will get better next year, though.
100%. Yeah. He'll get better. But unless he's Aaron Rodgers, it'll be a disappointment to these fans, and that's unfair. That's unfair because you're following a 4-time MVP.
I understand.
A guy who's taking you to, 5 NFC Championship games?
But you can, as a player, can pay attention to what the fans are thinking because I am following a Hall of Famer. And this is my first season as a full-time starter. So I got time to grow.
I hear you. But that's the world we live in. We live in an instant microwave success, and if it's not microwave, then we're calling for your head. So if he doesn't have a season comparable to Aaron's second year next year, when it's his contract year, they're going to be calling for a replacement, and that's the unfair part about it. So is this a setback for Jordan Love? Sure, but he's having a really good rookie season.
It's a rookie
starting season.
He is.
And I just hope that they give him the patience.
Right. The one thing I have loved about this young man, still very young man, is if you look at his fourth quarter numbers, every game that he's played, they're very good.
Yes.
Even, remember, we were at Colorado on that Friday with Dion, and they had played on Thursday night at home against Detroit. And if you looked at his, he almost threw for 200 yards in the fourth quarter. Well, last night he threw for almost 100 yards in the fourth quarter, 10 of 14 with a touchdown and no picks.
Right.
So he pretty much stunk much the rest of the game. He had a hard time because, as you know, it gets windy in there and there's crosswinds, and he threw 2 or 3 balls that are like, what was that? And by the way, I got to just say this quickly about young Coach LaFleur, although he did coach Aaron Rodgers, but he has a bad habit on the sideline of when Jordan Love misfires, he's like, oh, you know, like give him a break. Because you're signaling Packer Nation. Did you see if the coach is upset, then the fans are going to be like, oh,
best throw of the night for Jordan Love. Climbed the pocket, slid to his right, and threw his side on.
Threw his side on into the end
straight
zone.
laser for a touchdown. The kid just didn't hold on
and
to
then
the
they
ball.
batted it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bang-bang play.
It was
I
close.
probably would have gave it to him if I was a ref because it was so pretty. That was the best throw of the night.
Right.
It was. But we've seen that on occasion.
But I've also seen Aaron Rodgers do that same thing.
Right, and you can
Exactly.
see some of the stuff, but that's the same thing they were mad about Aaron about.
Yeah.
Because Aaron would do that to LaFleur.
He would
when
do
he would
it.
call it a bad play, he'd be like, see, I told you. I mean, he'd show him up. So it's weird that you know.
Yeah, that dynamic. Maybe
So funny.
Coach learned from ex.
I saw that last night, too, and shook my head.
Right.
I said that. I said,
can't
why
do that
is he
to no
doing
young
that,
player.
man?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
If
All
you
right.
did it to a coach, you would be a problem child.
Okay, so I haven't been able to help myself here twice. I have talked about the Dallas Cowboys. Now we're going to go full-on Dallas Cowboys up next because the money is rolling in on the Bills over the Cowboys. I don't get it.